We're here with WWE Raw performer Evan Bourne, and we're here at WWE Niagara Falls. And Evan, have you ever been to Niagara Falls before?
This is my first time. I just went and got a picture. Me and Gail Kim, of course. It was a nice photo shoot.
Yeah, you might. It's a little cold outside, but we do have the drop outside, which you might have to take a ride on later.
Oh yeah, I'll give it a swing.
Now, we're chatting here about being here at Niagara Falls, and I mean, a lot's been going on for you lately over the past couple of months. You moved over from ECW to Raw. Tell us a bit about that change, going from ECW over to the live show Monday night.
It's exciting. It's a big step up, stepping up to a larger audience, which is a lot more pressure, but those are the conditions I thrive under, so I've been loving it since I moved to Raw.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell us a bit about your background, too, because you do have a gymnastics background coming into wrestling, which is kind of unique.
Well, yeah, I'd say a lot of the tricks and like the aerial ability I learned when I bought my own trampoline when I was 13 years old. I saved up all my money and bought that, and I was jumping on it every day, you know, for quite a few years, so I got real comfortable being in the air.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of our fans as well have seen you before WWE with Dragon Gate, Ring of Honor, coming over to the WWE. I mean, was that difficult going from that style into WWE? What was that kind of transition like for you?
Well, the reason I came to WWE is I was looking for competition and like looking to wrestle the best wrestlers. So I've been really lucky to step in and get to go up against guys like Chavo, Rey Mysterio, I mean, Matt Hardy. So the really cool thing is wrestling guys that I know are legends, guys I've looked up to, and guys that are the best in the business right now, and going at them right now.
If you had kind of your say, I mean, WrestleMania next year, your ideal opponent, I mean, who's Evan Bourne looking at?
Well, it depends sort of on who's got the championship belts, because I definitely have my sights set on gold. So if it's The Miz, if it happens to be Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, or ideally somebody like Rey Mysterio, be a big match. Chris Jericho, I'd love to see. You know, the way he's been trashing Raw, I wouldn't mind standing up for the brand.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best of luck
right.
heading into WrestleMania next year, and thanks a lot for chatting with us.
Very cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi guys, it is the new Adam from What Culture, joined backstage at the American qualifiers for the Pro Wrestling World Cup by Matt Sydal. Matt, thanks so much for taking. Thanks for chatting to us. Great to have you here in Manchester. How was that match out there with Ricochet?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one for the ages, man. That's the one the fans are going to go home and talk about. It's the one over dinner tomorrow night. They're going to remember that time Matt Sydal kicked Ricochet in the head, but somehow he's still kicked out. That kid is absolutely amazing. Okay, I've known Ricochet since he was 17 years old. You have not seen a harder working wrestler in this business. You haven't seen somebody who wants it more until you see Ricochet, okay? My God, the way I saw this match tonight was the winner of my first round match, either Matt Sydal or Ricochet, that man will be the #1 seed in this tournament. That man can go on and win the World Cup.
Wow. Was that easier or harder for you facing someone you know so well, a tag partner?
Yes, so it is the challenge that I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. Because I could show up and whoop up on just about anybody. I mean, I have fun smashing guys. I have fun knocking out the big guys. I mean, there's no one I would rather face because I know Ricochet can push me further than anyone, and I know to discover the best inside of me, I need someone who can bring that out in me, and that's Ricochet.
Now, you've described yourself recently as a sort of freelance wrestler. Are you enjoying this sort of stage of your career the most?
I'm absolutely freelance. I do exactly whatever I want, whenever I want. There's nothing but peace, love, and pro wrestling in my life.
Was that a nice, you know, obviously after leaving WWE and going back to the, you know, indies, was it almost a feeling of like back to basics, back to what you enjoy the most about wrestling?
Well, I always just enjoy wrestling in general. I mean, I've been in some incredible locker rooms. I've had the privilege to share the ring with the best wrestlers on planet Earth, and that's all I do. I didn't take a step back when I left WWE. I went out and sought out the best on planet Earth, and for me the biggest treat was getting to go back and wrestle in Japan, where I made my name, where I found myself at Dragon Gate, and then moving to New Japan. I just had what I like to call a second rookie year, and that's led to where I'm at now, and I'll tell you what, I'm better than I've ever been, and it's continuing to look optimistic.
Absolutely, it is. Your style, and we saw it out there with a great match, as I said, with Ricochet, is fantastic to watch. Who are some of the people that influenced you growing up to go into that style of wrestling?
Yeah, well, you know, I was very influenced, of course. The match that like grabbed me was Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis from ECW. I mean, that just captured my imagination. But I grew up on like the '94 J Cup. I grew up on Japanese wrestling. I didn't grow up and A lot of people love WrestleMania, and that was their dream. But for me, my dream, my goal, my obstacle to conquer was to wrestle in Japan, and I did that. And I couldn't. When it happened at first, I couldn't believe it, and then it just became my life. It just became the course of my life. And learning Japanese and loving the culture, and just really being a part of that, gave birth to this style that I've created. That's somewhere between the lucha libre, like Ultimo Dragon started Dragon Gate, and that was this first real mix of American, Mexican, and Japanese style, all in one, but with no constraints, no boundaries, no limits. And Ricochet and I tapped into that, man. And I think it's evidence in any wrestling you watch in this day and age that what me and Ricochet did today and what we've been doing sets the standard.
Absolutely. And how was that for you to be recognised by the Wrestling Observer being the best flying wrestler in 2008?
Oh man, that was that's cool. I don't take any attachment to accolades. If someone tells me I had the worst match of 2008, I would give that as much credit as I do the best finishing move of 2008, because every time I go out there, it is a literal heart and soul performance, and I leave it out there. The fruits of my labor are for the people. If Meltzer loves it, I love it. If Meltzer loves it, that's great. If the fans love it, that's great. Even if everybody hates it, but one kid got inspired by it, that's enough for me, man, because I go out, I make the art, I leave it out there, take it for what it is. You can leave me feedback on my Twitter, you can leave me feedback on my Instagram at Matt Sydal, MATTSYDAL. I appreciate the compliments, I love it, I appreciate the support, I love that, I love it when you buy my t-shirts too. But honestly, if you got mean things to say or nice things to say, I won't hold any attachment to it, man, because that's just temporary stuff.
And you mentioned there about leaving it all out there, and you've wrestled some incredible matches, and you know, as you say, have put yourself in such positions to have injuries and stuff like that. Is that just all part of who you are, and has that helped you develop as a wrestler?
Yeah, that's part of my insanity, that's part of my mania, that's part of my mental issues. I dislocated my shoulder 2 weeks and 1 day ago, that's 15 days ago. It's a minimum 4 weeks off, because you have to worry about taking a fall and dislocating your shoulder again. But honestly, I can't. My issue is I can't step back. I want to be in it. I want to be the center of attention. I want the camera on me. I want the spotlight on me every single time. And even though I knew I went into this match with the chance of defeat being higher than ever, I went in there with the same attitude, with the same confidence, with the same gumption that I always do. Because there's always a chance. I mean, I know more roll-ups than anyone. I know, like, we're talking tight pins. When I can hit this stuff, it doesn't matter if you're Keith Lee or Ricochet. I can lock anybody down, tie them up, and get 3 count. I really thought that I could win this cup. I didn't, and so now I'm going to go take all my money. I at least made 20 or 50 bucks, but I'm going to put this on Ricochet. Anyway, my money's on my man, Ricochet.
How has that been for you in terms of, because I know I've heard you say before about how frustrated you can get when you're on the shelf and someone says to you, you literally cannot wrestle.
Well, I mean, that's just depression, man. I think we all go through it, from no matter what it is. Like, it's hard to feel like you're on the outside when you want to be on the inside, and I struggle with that. But man, when that plane ticket's bought and your name's on that poster, you show up and you throw down. And I mean, I'll go out there, I'll bleed for this, I'll break my bones for this. I wouldn't have it any other way, because anything else would send me going home with regrets. And I just live my life with the intention of not having any regrets. So.
Now, you've wrestled at Slammiversary, you've wrestled at WrestleMania, as you mentioned, you've wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom. How do those compare? Because they're the heights, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, when they book me, they know what they're doing. It's as simple as that. When these places know what's cooking, when they want to be on fire, they bring Matt Sydal to that ring. I mean, the penultimate match, like when you do a WrestleMania or a Slammiversary or a Wrestle Kingdom, the point is you've spent the last year from the previous one to this coming one with the goal of stealing that show. That's the one that looms over you. That's the one that gets you when that bus pulls in at 3 in the morning and me and Ricochet, instead of turning in and going to bed, go straight to the gym. That's not even a joke. That's not a metaphor. That's nonsense, but we do it. You have to understand, if we don't get in that a weightlifting session and 15 minutes of cardio after that, somebody else might be doing it. Somebody else might be working harder. If we don't get up early in the morning and go hit that yoga class and then go lift those weights, somebody else is going to do it. And quite frankly, now that the business is good, now that there's money in this business, there's a bunch of kids coming in here trying to take our spots, trying to take that money right out from underneath me. We have sustained this business. I've been coming to England for 11 years now, 11 years. It hasn't always been this good, but there's a reason it's this good. It's because we've been fighting for it and earning it, and the fans here have been supporting us since then. And I knew when I came here in 2012, 13, I could feel it. It was like a pressure cooker starting to heat up. And tonight, you could feel it. I mean, this place was on fire, it's exploding, and we're not even at the finals yet. I mean, it's such a treat to come to a place very similar to Japan where the fans are in love with wrestling and they get it. And that way we're all on the same page, and it's not the wrestlers performing and the fans watching. It's one big symbiotic experience, and we can't do it without them, and they can't. There's no show without us. But when the wrestlers and the crowd are in sync and we're all tuned in together, man, that's when the magic happens.
Now, people obviously can tell you're a man not short on self-confidence, and you've described yourself as one of the best cruiserweights around. And your name was one of the people I immediately thought of when the Cruiserweight Classic was brought up with WWE. Is there a chance that maybe you could possibly return there at all in the future?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just put it simply. Like, I mean, first of all, I have a lot of self-doubt and self-confidence issues. However, I also have been paying attention to this wrestling world since day one, and I know where I stand. I'm not just the best cruiserweight wrestler, I'm one of the best wrestlers, period, in all of history. From the lineage, from the day one, from the back in the shooter days, till today, I'm a guy you can frame up and put next to anybody. I have no doubt in that. And as far as the WWE Cruiserweight division goes, man, they got a hell of a champion. They really do. I got invited for the Cruiserweight tournament. It just didn't work out. I really loved working for New Japan, and I would never trade WWE for New Japan, not in a million years. However, now it's, not outside the realm of possibility to do something with WWE. I'm not under contract anywhere. I'm completely freelance. So if they needed me for something and it worked out in everybody's best interest, I would do that. But to be honest, I'm glad that everybody else has the spotlight there. I'm glad that the fans get to see these guys. I'm super satisfied doing what I'm doing. I don't wrestle to be on TV. I don't wrestle to be famous. I don't wrestle to have people stop me. I wrestle because it has to come out of me. So as long as I have a ring, and as long as there's people, and as long as there are world-class wrestlers standing across the ring from me, I don't care where I am.
What does the future hold potentially for Matt Sydal in terms of matches? Because I mean, I've heard in the past you've mentioned Cody's name's been mentioned. You've even called out Bullet Club. Is that something that you'd like to see in the future?
Well, I mean, I've straight been whooping the Bullet Club's A Double Crooked since day one. I mean, my matches with Ricochet and the Young Bucks, whether they were at PWG or New Japan, are some of the best memories. They're the best matches that I've ever been a part of, and I'm honored to call the Bullet Club my rivals. People always are asking me, oh, do you want to join the Bullet Club? I say, hell no. Hell no. They need rivals. They need people who can push them further. They need people who aren't going to get pushed around by them. They need people who aren't afraid to stand up, who aren't thinking, oh, I want to be cool and do too sweet. No, that's great. That's cool. That's for them. But that's not for me. I create my own thing. I'm an original, and so anybody in the Bullet Club, when the Bullet Club gets so fat and everybody realizes they're not getting any attention, those guys are going to want to join my team. Team all one. You know what I mean? I'm a unifier. I'm not a divider. We were talking about New Japan, Bullet Club. What was the original question?
Cody, just what the future holds.
Oh, what the future holds for me. Oh, so I did want to get to this. So right now, I'm at Impact Wrestling. I don't know if we're going to be Global Force or how that works, because all of that is irrelevant to me, because right now we have Low-Ki as the X Division champion, and my immediate goal right now is to get a one-on-one match with Low-Ki and pry that belt from his cold dead hands. I know that's the only way to get that belt from him, because he has been the most dangerous wrestler since I entered this business, since I entered it, when I was driving 8 hours to get to Nashville to show up in TNA and hope and pray to get a tryout match. It was Low-Ki, Amazing Red, Jerry Lynn, AJ Styles. These guys were killing it in these X Division matches, and I said, I'm getting there. And here we are 17 years later, and I'm ready for that match with Low-Ki. It's time for that one to happen, that it will be an epic shootout for the ages. So that's my immediate future, that X Division title. But quite frankly, anything goes. I mean, I don't see why I couldn't be WWE Cruiserweight Champion in a few weeks. I could be What Culture Pro Champion. I mean, and give me some tag belts too. My gosh, give me the 6-man tag belts, because ain't nobody can do a 6-man tag better than the boys from Dragon Gate. Okay, everybody. If there's any 6-man titles, you're on notice. Tag titles, me and Ricochet can still rock and roll any day of the week.
So much to look forward to.
Absolutely.
It is going to be some epic matches with you, Matt. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us.
My pleasure. What a treat. Thanks, guys.